Hey, what's going on, guys? I am back for the final Sunday Wildcard Weekend preview video that I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are traveling to Kansas City to face the Chiefs. Now, this is the Sunday night game, so it's starting at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. So it's the same time that you guys have been watching those Sunday night games all throughout the season. Now, these two teams have faced off this year, and it wasn't too long ago that they faced off, and the Chiefs put a whooping on Pittsburgh in their previous matchup. This matchup did happen in Kansas City. The Chiefs beat them 36-10, and that happened on December 26th. So obviously the Chiefs are going to be riding pretty high with some confidence of how they dominated that last matchup. Maybe the Steelers have gained some confidence from their past two wins over the Browns and Ravens, but I don't know if that's going to be enough for them against the Kansas City Chiefs this week. But they are getting some help back, so why don't I dive into the injury reports really quick? Now, this is definitely notable. Najee Harris is listed as questionable with an elbow injury. Now, as I've been saying on all these videos, any guy that's listed as questionable, I kind of assume they're going to play because it is playoff football. So unless that elbow injury is so bad that it could potentially lead to Najee Harris fumbling the ball, which he did not do at one time throughout the year, I think he had some type of record or some type of notable stat of being like a first-time rookie to carry the ball as many times as he did and without fumbling. So unless the elbow is going to affect that type of play from Najee, I totally expect he's going to be dominating the touches out of the Pittsburgh backfield. Now, I told you there's going to be a guy that's surprisingly going to return after leaving the season earlier. Juju Smith-Schuster, who was much reported that his season was done with a shoulder injury. Well, he came back to practice this week. The latest report is signaling that Juju will be playing on Sunday night. Now, there is possible he could have a limited snap count. We don't know what his conditioning is like as well. But regardless, it does sound like we're going to see Juju at least one more time in a Steelers uniform because he is set to be a free agent again after this season. But Juju has made his push to return to his team for the playoffs. Now, on the opposite side for Kansas City, they're dealing with a couple injuries to their backfield. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been ruled out with his shoulder injury. And then Darrell Williams, who would obviously be his replacement, has been listed questionable with a toe injury. So obviously they'll have to lean on that Derek Gore as their running back if Darrell Williams is unable to go. And then Jerick McKinnon's back in the lineup. So if Darrell Williams cannot play because of that toe injury, you'll probably see a mixture of that Derek Gore and Jerick McKinnon out of the backfield for the Chiefs. So as always, guys, those that have watched the previous videos, you know how I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a look at a team's offense versus the other team's defense, and then vice versa, and then get you guys out of here. Trying to keep I've been keeping these videos roughly between 15 to 20 minutes. I wanted to keep it underneath the 20-minute mark, but sometimes I get too talk happy on these things. So yeah, I'm going to start with the Pittsburgh offense against the Kansas City defense. Now, the Pittsburgh offense, you guys can see is by the stats, they're a bottom half of the league offense. I mean, it should be no surprise. Big Ben's arm is completely fallen off. He can't push the ball down the field. And the rushing attack just hasn't been there. I mean, Najee Harris has done some really good things as a rookie running back, but because the offensive line is not that dominant, they really can't lean into it as much as they would probably hope to because of the lack of ability to get Big Ben to push down the ball down the field. It's best for them if they could maybe try to get that going on Sunday and try to get Ben in third and short situations throughout the night. But taking a look at the numbers, total yards per game, 315.4 yards a game. That's 23rd in the NFL. It's a bottom five rushing attack in terms of numbers. They only average 93.1 yards on the ground, which ranks 29th in the league. Now, their passing attack does find themselves in the top half of the league, but at the end of the top half of the league. They get 222.2 yards a game. That is 15th in the NFL. And then as far as points, they've been averaging 20.2 points a game. That's 21st in the NFL. So right underneath 3 touchdowns they've been averaging a game, but they're going to be needing a lot more than just 20 points a game from their offense if they're going to be able to keep up with this Kansas City offense, who has gained more confidence towards the back end of this season. Now, you look at the Kansas City defense, though, they're nothing to brag home about either. Now, they did improve in the back half, but you could still move the ball against this team. So look at this. I mean, total yards per game, they give up 368.9 yards a game. That's 27th on the league. That's a bottom five defense in terms of production in terms of yard production that they're giving up. They give up 117.6 yards a game on the ground. That's 21st in the league. And then they give up 251.4 yards through the air, which is 27th. Now, they don't give up that many points in terms of a broad perspective across the league, only giving up 21.4. That ranks 8th in the NFL. That's top 10 as far as points per game allowed. So they are one of those bend but don't break defenses. They really bend quite often, but they can somewhat try to get to being stout towards closer to the red zone. So what you look in this matchup is, okay, so like obviously they can't just score 10 points like they did last time in Arrowhead. That's not winning football against Patrick Mahomes in the offense. So what they would do is they would have to kind of try to flip themselves upside down, if that makes any sense in this game. The guys up front, up front in the trenches, they're gonna have to, obviously they're gonna have to try to generate some push against Chris Jones, which is very hard to do. And obviously they're gonna have to hold off Chris Jones from getting to Big Ben because he's a really good effective pass rusher. So if they can come out early and establish some control in the trenches and generate some power where Najee is not getting hit in the first 1 to 2 yard range, and allow Najee to start kind of gaining 4 to 5 yards a carry to start the game, kind of get them in those. I talked about this in my Bills preview about Mac Jones. Now they're kind of different in terms of play as a quarterback, but what I'm getting at is you need to get Big Ben in these third and shorts. Because then what that will allow you to do, that will allow you to maybe kind of lean on Najee, maybe to get you the first down. Big Ben can at least throw 5 yards, right? So, and Deontay Johnson is he's a really good shifty route runner where he can win those inside slants and take those type of really quick outs and stuff like that to get the first down. Chase Claypool is really good at those end arounds too, where maybe if you want to catch them slipping and run that play, you can run an end around with Chase, and Chase can take that 10 plus yards if everything hits right whenever they call that. Now, obviously, you guys know how I feel about Pat Freiermuth and what he means to Big Ben. He's going to have to be his best friend on Sunday night. So if they do get those 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7, the intermediate range, Big Ben needs to kind of figure out how he can get the ball to Pat, because Nick Bolton's been a nice, good rookie surprise. Anthony Hitchens is better against the run than the pass. So Pat Freiermuth can try to work the middle of that defense and get open for Big Ben to help keep the chains moving. Now, this is going to have to be a team that they have to keep the chains moving. They have to keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline, try to keep him as cold as possible. And then they have to convert every drive that they can into a touchdown. And if they can't get into a touchdown, they have to end with 3 points. But field goals won't be enough. But drives got to end in points. And then they're going to have their defense step up and create some timely turnovers. But, I mean, the thing is, you're going against this defense where Tyrann Mathieu can easily pick off a bad Big Ben pass as well as L'Jarius Sneed or a Juan Thornhill. So Big Ben has to be efficient with his balls, and he's going to have to take some timely shots. I know he doesn't really have the arm to push it down the field, but they are going to have to take a shot or two in order to keep drives alive, and they can't be afraid. They can't play afraid football anymore. It's playoff football. So if it gets to the second half of the game and it's still within range and you start getting in 3rd and long situations, Big Ben has to take a shot at some point. But with that being said, I really don't trust the offensive line in Pittsburgh. So I can see Chris Jones, Frank Clark, Melvin Ingram. I can see them harassing Big Ben throughout the night and getting a lot of sacks off of him. And then that can turn into fumbles. That can turn into Big Ben throwing interceptions. And then it can end up being a snowball effect where that offense just completely falls away. They can't go on the run. They're passing a lot, and they really don't have the proper passing attack because of Ben's arm strength at this point. And then it just gets out of control, and Kansas City jumps out to a huge lead, and we're all going to bed early on Sunday night. Now, flipping sides of the ball, to take a look at the Kansas City offensive stats. I went the wrong way on my doc, so apologize. So taking a look at the Kansas City offense. Obviously, this is an offense that's still a top 5 offense. They had their struggles at one point where they were kind of like, Patrick wasn't being himself, and the offense really didn't have an identity. Travis Kelce, his age is showing this year. Tyreek Hill's disappeared more times than not this year, maybe because he's kind of been dealing with injuries. Like he was on the sideline on that last Denver game, which is obviously, that's something I didn't mention, I guess. He wasn't on the injury report, but we'll have to see if he is 100% and good to go for this matchup on Sunday night. But when you take a look at the numbers of what Kansas City did this year, yards per game, getting 396.8 yards a game. That's third best in the league. Now, they're right there in the middle as far as their rushing attack. They only average 115 yards a game, which is 16th. But this has been a team that's never really been a good, they never really are known for their ground and pound attack, right? It's always been Patrick Mahomes and his weapons and them just lighting up defenses through the air. And they had top 5 unit this year, 281.8 yards a game, average, which is 4th in the league, and they do put up points. They've averaged 28.2 points a game this year, which is 4th in the league. So this is a team that still can put up points. They can still be a threat in the air, and on any given quarter, they get you 3 or 4 touchdowns out of nowhere. I still believe that can happen. This is a team that's been in the playoffs over the last 2 or 3 years. They know what playoff football is all about. This is not an inexperienced team, and I believe they can wake up and get things going early if they need to. And that's the thing. I'll get into defensive stats with Pittsburgh, but to get my point off really quick, the Steelers defense has to make an impact in the first quarter. They have to get a big TJ Watt sack to maybe force a 3 and out or force a punt. They cannot allow the Kansas City offense to get the ball to start the game, march down the field, 7 points. Steelers offense stalls. They punt the ball. Kansas City gets the ball back. They march down the field. All of a sudden, it's 14-0, and it's 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. 6 minutes left in the first quarter, right? It's already halfway through the first quarter. Kansas City's up 14-0. Like I said, if that happens, and then I think the Steelers offense falls apart, and we're all going to bed early on Sunday night. So really quick, though, before I forget to do this, taking a look at the Steelers defense, it's rough this year, to say the least, especially against the run. But luckily, they're going against a team that is not the best against the run, and they're missing their top, running back on the depth chart, who has kind of been more of a letdown with Kansas City. And then Darrell Williams has been very effective as well. But if he can't go with his toe, they're missing the top 2 guys in this game, so that could maybe play in the Pittsburgh Steelers' favor. Now, as far as yards per game, they give up 361 yards a game. Pittsburgh's defense has this year. It's 24th in the league. That's bottom 10 in the league. Their rushing defense is the worst this year. They've given up 146.1 yards a game. That's 32nd in the NFL. Maybe Andy Reid comes out and he gets things going with Jerick McKinnon and Derek Gore. If Darrell Williams can't be going and try to take advantage of the weak rushing defense of Pittsburgh. Now, their passing defense in terms of yards per game has been pretty good this year, top 10 in terms of that yardage, 215.1 yards a game. That's 9th in the NFL, but is that because they are giving up so many yards on the ground that teams don't pass to on them? So that stat might be a little skewed, a tad bit. Now, in terms of points per game, they give up 23.4 points a game. That's 20th in the NFL. That's a little over 3 touchdowns a game that this team gives up. But what's crazy is this team has the guy that's going to probably be the defensive player of the year, TJ Watt. Cam Hayward's a stud. And then they got Minka Fitzpatrick, who can be a ball hawk. Now, he hasn't really created those timely turnovers as we've seen in the past this year, but he's still a really good safety. And then Joe Hayden's a solid cornerback as well. So it's going to be interesting because I think Joe Hayden and the secondary can kind of somewhat keep Tyreek Hill in check especially if he is kind of limited, if he's not 100% healthy. Because like I said, he was on the sidelines quite often last week. But where the mismatch might come is Travis Kelce. I don't think they got a guy that can cover Travis Kelce. I think Devin Bush will struggle in coverage against him. Joe Schober's a decent guy in coverage, so maybe he can help out. But Travis Kelce's got too much wiggle for both those linebackers, in my opinion. So I think I'm looking at Travis Kelce go over 100 yards and grab a touchdown in this game. But like I said, it's one of two things. Like either they're going to kind of get the ground game going, and then that's going to allow things to open up. And then Patrick Mahomes is going to pick them apart when he has the time, with his timing with his wide receivers. With, like I said, Travis Kelce, I think has a good game. I think Tyreek Hill kind of has a step back game, but a guy like Byron Pringle steps up and gets some big plays through them, keeps the chains moving throughout the game. And I think they're going to score 3 to 4 plus touchdowns on this defense. Now, if I'm going for, let's just say things can go in the Pittsburgh favor, what they need is they're going to need TJ Watt to have an outstanding performance where he gets 3+ sacks. Maybe, like I said, that first drive of the game for the Kansas City offense, if he can come off the edge, light up Patrick, and he fumbles, and maybe Minka picks up the ball and scoots for a touchdown, and all of a sudden the Steelers are up 7-0 to start the game. Maybe that's when you can kind of see things going. Maybe I'm maybe it's Pittsburgh's day. They're going to have to create turnovers. They're going to have to get sacks, and they're just going to have to get Patrick as uncomfortable as he can. But they need to do a better job of keeping him inside. He's one of those quarterbacks, right? You want to somewhat keep him in the pocket, because when Patrick does escape, that allows a Tyreek Hill, Pringle, and all those guys to kind of run around and get open for Patrick, and he can kind of pick them apart with his arm talent. But I don't really see that happening. I think they're going to be able to move the ball. I think they're going to be in scoring position more times than not. And like I said, I think they're going to get up to the 3 to 4 touchdown mark, just because that Pittsburgh defense is just not the vaunted defense of the past. So with this game, everything says it's going to be a dominant performance for the Steelers. Now, I am kind of worried. I'm going to pick a dominant effort, by the Chiefs on Sunday. So I am going to pick the Chiefs to win this game. Probably a 31-17 win. I really don't think it's going to be that close, to be honest. That probably does mean the Steelers are going to win, because everybody's thinking this, including myself. I am kind of I'm kind of worried right now, because Wildcard Weekend always has an upset from a road team, and I have picked home teams in all my videos, and I only got one more video to do, so I am somewhat worried with my picks, but I think I'm just trusting the home teams this year. So yeah, I definitely think the Chiefs are going to win this in a dominating effort, unless things just happen to go like I explained earlier, and try to explain a story of how maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers could win this game. Hey, it's Big Ben's last ride. I've said this before in the videos. Sometimes weird things happen when the players are on their final ride. So who knows? Maybe that Steelers defense looks like the Steelers defense of last year on Sunday night. But with that being said, I'm still picking with the Chiefs. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you have yet to subscribe to my channel, please hit the subscribe button, as I try to get that number up this year. And then you can keep up with all my one last wildcard preview video, which I'll be doing tomorrow for the Rams and Cardinals, but also keeping up with all the playoff content I'll be doing and all the future content I have planned. And then other than that, I will be back tomorrow. I'll do it first thing in the morning. I'm going to record the preview video of the Cardinals and Rams matchup, so stay tuned for that. Other than that, I'm going to hop off here and get this edited and uploaded, and I'm going to just get back to just kind of enjoy my Friday night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.